this. So I mentioned in the past that I had a hernia operation recently, and then I read in the papers that I could have lost a testicle. And they didn't warn me about that, didn't get my permission, you know, that it was okay with me. And then, lo and behold, after 10 days, 9 days, the doctor saw me again to check everything is all right. And one of the questions he asked me, are your testicles okay? I said yes, but I didn't know how it would be if it was not okay. You know, there could be something that I don't understand. So I'm very surprised at the, you know, the amateurishness with which these doctors practice their medical profession. The thing that I want to talk about is how human beings, like when I call a bank, let's say, if I call Wells Fargo, I get a Wells Fargo flavor of reaction. If it's Bank of America, it's different. There's another bank that I will not name. It's Horrible Bank. It's an online bank. And they're very obnoxious people. And whenever I deal with them, you know, it raises my blood pressure, and I had to deal with one of them today. And so that made me think that people absorb culture of wherever they happen to be, whatever company they are in. They become that. You know, if you work for post office, you become a post office kind of a person. You know, you work for IBM, you become that kind of a person. And why is it like that? Well, the analogy is like animals are like that. There are goats and there are dogs, and they don't have any common traits. They're quite different. Human beings are like that too. You know, some person just has these traits and is like a machine. It's very predictable. Suppose the person is greedy or stingy, you will always see that they will play that role to the hilt. You know, they will never relent. They will just, you know, keep doing that, or whatever it is. And so this absorption of whatever is around you is like copying. They copy it. And sometimes they have very, especially between the age of, you know, the teenage and around mid-20s, it's very pronounced. And they love to, they're still looking for how to define their personality. And so they're absorbing and copying, and sometimes they have very weird ideas that didn't even happen. For instance, suppose you are unhappy and you are an adult now, so you would think maybe my dad did something wrong to me when I was young. And even if there was nothing wrong, you would just manufacture some idea. And then after a while, it takes a hold of you and you really, really believe it. And you will have bad relationship with your father, and the father has no clue why are you having this kind of a situation. And like the terrorist people in Europe, for instance, when they get radicalized, they're young, they're usually in that age group. Yeah, we do have terrorists in the 50s and 40s too. But and this is all because they're like empty, and they are looking for some mission that they need to accomplish, and then they get radicalized, and there's no way you can stop them from doing whatever the hell they want to do, and will harm other people, harm themselves, for no reason. The problem with them is that once they are on this roll, they believe in this thing, whatever it is that they believe, they cannot stop believing that. This is the whole thing. It's not modification, they just cannot stop. And so this is you know, you may not find it funny, but to me it's very funny. And when I look at people, they're so predictable to me. I am not surprised by their behavior. I just know that this is what they are. They are either goats or dogs or cockroaches or lions or whatever they are. You know, you can't expect an act of bravery from a hyena or, you know, or loyalty from a snake. You know, even though some people have, you know, pantheons as pet animals. Long time ago, I was in a rest area on a highway, and somebody told me that he can't believe that this friend of his who had a pantheon, the big, you know, the big constrictor kind of a snake, that he actually strangulated his friend. He said he was his pet. He was complaining, you know. He was his pet. Well, Ponciano doesn't know that. He just does it. You know. We had a case recently where a snake like that, you know, did that to 2 children about 2-3 years ago. It was a big news. And so human beings are like that too. Like Donald Trump is a very good example. He's very childish. He's very vindictive. He says if somebody goes out of his way to harm me, I will go out of my way to harm him. People are not going out of their way to harm him. He is just like that. You need to say what kind of a phenomenon this guy is. Okay, I got 1 minute. So this is the way the common people are too. And since they're not in the White House, we don't see them. But I see them all the time. And I'm never surprised that they have this predictability in their behavior. They're just really like a machine. And like this machine will squeeze juice out of a fruit. Well, this human being will do just this one thing, or another thing, or another thing. And so it's very disappointing, very funny, very predictable. But this is true. I have found it to be really true. I submit it that you give it a consideration. Okay, thank you. Bye.